This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. And in today's episode, I will speak with Grant Kimberley. He is the Executive Director of the Iowa Biodiesel Board, and he spoke recently at a conference discussing some of the higher biodiesel blends. We will also have a check of the weather, but first, let's run down the closing markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Kaden, we have a little bit of a strange schedule this week. We had the trading day on Monday, the day off yesterday, of course, for the 4th of July holiday. How are the grain markets reacting today?
Yeah, like you said, 4th of July yesterday meant no markets last night, no overnight session. So the 8:30 open today kind of was all eyes on deck just to see how we opened. Corn and beans opened pretty strong, sold off throughout the course of the day. And then, the last hour and a half kind of rebounded back. So corn had a 20-cent range on the day. It's going to close pretty well in the middle of it. Beans had about a 40-cent range on the day, going to close pretty well in the middle of it, maybe on the lower end, but really, I would say almost a fairly muted market, if you will. Like I said, we had decent ranges, but when you look at the closes, it's going to be pretty quiet day overall.
Kaden, when we think about the crop ratings that we got recently, I think we kind of expected an increase in both corn and soybeans as far as that good to excellent rating. However, we saw corn improve just a little bit, but we actually saw soybeans decrease in quality. Did that surprise you at all to see that in the crop ratings?
A little bit, yeah. Really, I kind of thought corn would be up, a little bit more than 1%, maybe 2 to 3. But kind of my stance, my opinion on crop ratings is you got to look a little bit more at the trend as opposed to the actual numbers themselves. Obviously, this is the first week that we've seen, that crop rating, especially for corn, stop just falling hard every week. So I kind of think as you look out over the next 2-3 weeks, I would kind of expect that rating to continue to improve. And again, that's kind of more what I pay attention to. I don't think you can really get a good analog view on the specific numbers, good to excellent, as opposed to, I think you're better off kind of looking at what the trend is week over week.
And more to that point, Kaden, we see swings in the marketplace based on a weather forecast changing or the forecast models in just a day-to-day basis. So I guess that kind of applies as well to crop ratings.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely something the market's got its eye on. I don't know. I guess, to be honest, I think maybe market's getting a little bit callous to it, if you will, just because, the first week that we had a big cut and good to excellent, we were up huge on that Monday night. And then, as the weeks went on, it kind of got to where I think it was last week, we still had another cut. The market started a little bit higher and then sold off pretty hard on Tuesday. So it's to the point now, I'm not going to say at all we're out of the woods as far as weather goes. The market's still going to be watching weather pretty closely, but I think if most people are honest with themselves, the thoughts of a 2012 drought are probably over. So now we're just kind of trying to figure out what size crop we do have.
And Kaden, as we know, this time of year, as we get close to pollination, is an important time to get some of that rainfall. And we are starting to see that turn in the weather, at least for parts of the Corn Belt and parts of the Midwest. We have seen that improvement in the weather pattern in recent days, and some areas have seen some really nice rainfall.
They have, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can always talk to people who missed out, didn't get what they wanted. But I think overall, and what the market's looking for is the overall picture. And I think if you look at, the last 7 to 10 days, maybe even actual accumulation, most of the Corn Belt's got good rain. And on top of that, the forecast continues to look pretty strong. Going into, like you said here, the first couple weeks of July, pretty important for pollination. So, you'll take as much moisture as you can get. And for right now, if people haven't gotten it last week, it sure looks like there should be decent chances coming up.
And when we think back to Friday, we got that corn acreage and the planting acres and how the actual acreage works out for those numbers on Friday. And we saw that there was actually quite a reduction in the soybean acres. Kaden, I think that caught everybody by surprise, but what was your initial reaction to that? And do you think the markets have now, we've kind of seen those big jumps in movement based on the reaction to that news?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think that report was just a huge shock, really. If you just look at the trade estimates, they were pretty close to what we got in March. So, yeah, 4 million acre cut in beans was a huge deal. It definitely, when you plug it into a balance sheet, if you just look supply side, obviously you cut 4 million acres, yield becomes very important. What you get, there are some questions on demand, both corn and beans. So I'm not going to say beans are going to race higher yet, although I don't think it's certainly was not a bad report on Thursday for beans. But the bigger question, at least in my mind, is if you look at the way the market traded on Monday, and then again today, I kind of, like you said, I think the ecstasy of that report's worn off. Monday night or Sunday night into early Monday, we were like 40, 50 cents higher. No beans, closed only 10 higher. And then again today, we were up 20 early on, and now we're going to close down, 5 or so. So not really what you want to see. If you're looking for a sustained rally, that early trade higher and then sell off 2 days in a row is not a great look here in the short term.
And then, Kaden, switching over to the other side of the ag marketplace, what's happening in the livestock markets today?
Yeah, cattle market's lower on the day. Feeders had a good run really into the last week and Monday. Tried to put on another dollar early this morning. They're going to close about $3 lower. So that's actually kind of a key reversal. If you look at it, we traded higher than we did on Monday and going to close below it. So that's not a great look. Live cattle down close to $2 as well in August. So not a great look cattle wise. Hogs look great, up another $3 today. They finally hit the 200-day moving average, which I just looking is the first time we've touched that since March. So finally good to be back in that area. I think it'll take a big push to get through it, but it's good to be here for sure.
He is Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net with our closing market analysis today. Kaden, how can our viewers get in touch for more marketing information?
Yes, sir. Just go to our website, agmarket.net. You can reach anybody from our team there, as well as try out free trials of what we offer to clients, whether it be marketing plans, brokerage, et cetera. You can find it all there.
Well, thank you so much for the analysis today. And always, Kaden, we'll speak with you again soon. Have a great day.
Yes, sir, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
And that was Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net with our closing analysis. It's time now to take a look at those closing numbers, and those numbers courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart.
September corn down 2 3/4 at $4.85 1/4. New crop December corn unchanged at $4.93 1/2. August soybeans up 1 even at $14.68 3/4. New crop November soybeans up 1 1/4 at $13.55 even. August soybean meal down $1.60 at $410.10. August soybean oil up $1.36 at $65.03. Chicago wheat up 32 1/2 at $6.74 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 48 1/4 at $8.57 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 49 3/4 at $8.46 1/4. And September oats up 25 even at $4.12 3/4. On the Merc, August live cattle down $1.87 at $174.95. August feeder cattle down $3.20 at $244.70. July lean hogs up $3.45 at $101.27. July pork cutout up $4.02 at $106.57. And Class 3 milk down a cent at $14.91.
And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. It is time now to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, we will be joined by Grant Kimberley with the Iowa Biodiesel Board. This is AMPM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today we are joined by Grant Kimberley, Executive Director of the Iowa Biodiesel Board. Grant was a featured speaker at a recent Chevron REG workshop where he discussed higher blends of biodiesel.
It's time to go between the pods with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network and the Iowa Soybean Association. For the next year, we will explore the ways Iowa-grown soybeans are making a difference at home and around the world.
My name is Grant Kimberley, and I've been around the biofuel industry for a lot of years and agriculture industries, and so it's been a really amazing time to see all the progress that's been made over those years and to see where we're at to this point in time. So my goal today is to give you a little overview of the legislation and how we got there and where it's at today and what the credits look like. And then we'll go on and hear from other experts later on in the panel. Next slide, please. So last year, the Iowa legislature passed the Biofuels Access Act, House File 2128. This was a bill that was led by Governor Reynolds in Iowa, and it was supported by a coalition of ag and biofuel groups. What the goal of this legislation is to rework and expand and encourage usage of biodiesel, and to move the blend levels even higher than what we've seen over the last decade or more in the state of Iowa. Iowa has always been a leader in biofuel production and usage, and this bill has helped move the needle further along the line, which is the goal of Governor Reynolds and the Iowa legislature. Next slide, please. The 2022 Biofuels Access Act included a lot of different phases and aspects to the bill. One aspect was to expand and extend the biodiesel production tax credit. Iowa is the leading producer of biodiesel in the country. We have production capacity of roughly 450 million gallons of biodiesel per year. So that would help to ensure that the biodiesel industry continues to navigate the challenges that may occur with normal market fluctuations to make sure we have plenty of product to supply to the marketplace. The Biofuels Access Act bill also included changes to the Iowa fuel excise tax differential. And so what that means is that effectively July 1st, 2024, blends of B20 or higher will have an eroding tax credit of 3 cents, a differential tax credit of 3 cents per gallon. So that means that if you use B20 blends or higher, that'll have a 3 cent lower fuel tax on that particular blend. That does sunset June 30th, 2030. Next slide. Other aspects to the bill was on the retailer tax credit side of things. In order to continue to move the needle higher and increase the blends of biodiesel, the legislature had to look at ways to kind of make that all fit within the budget. And so we had a current B5 to B11 credit that was set to sunset in 2022. And so the legislature looked at what they needed to do to continue to move the biodiesel blends higher. And so the new bill effectively moved the tax credit for blends of B11 to B19 up to 5 cents per gallon. That's through December 31st, 2027. Blends of B20 to B29 will now be 7 cents per gallon. That's a new credit. That will be through 2027. And then also a new credit was blends of B30 and above at 10 cents per gallon. Next slide. Blends of over B20 did not qualify for credits under the Department of Agriculture's established standards here in Iowa, and so we had to work through some additional regulatory language with them as well. And that was taken care of through the Rules Committee process, and that was effective as of this February. Next slide. Yes, B30 is ambitious in nature, but we see many users are already using it, and so we thought this was another way to continue to meet the goals of the state and continue to move the needle forward. Next slide. The great benefit of biodiesel and moving blends higher is that it lowers carbon emissions, and that's something that we're all hearing more about in these days. And this is a way to continue to extend the useful life of liquid fuels, especially in heavy horsepower and high-duty applications. So B20 blends, B30 blends and above, we think are going to be a great solution to help our economy, but also to help meet the carbon goals of the future. Thank you for the time today, and if you have further questions, I'm going to be available as well as part of the panel. Thank you.
That was Between the Pods with Grant Kimberley of the Iowa Biodiesel Board. Let's turn our attention now to the ag weather outlook. Partly cloudy skies in the state of Iowa today with some scattered thunderstorm activity. Tonight, things are going to cool off just a little bit in some areas, and those chances for isolated thunderstorms continue tonight. And then tomorrow, you look at the forecast, it is just about a picture-perfect summer day as we will have sunny skies and warm temperatures around the state of Iowa. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see from the National Weather Service, partly sunny skies with scattered thunderstorm chances today in the state of Iowa. High temperature range, a little bit of a wide range as we have highs expected 72 to 87. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorm chances. And again, as I mentioned, cooling off a little bit as we will have lows tonight expected 49 to 60. Now, tomorrow looks like a beautiful day in the forecast. Widespread sunshine throughout the state. High temperatures expected in a very comfortable 75 to 78 range. And now taking a look at our affiliate weather map for tomorrow. Pretty much sunny skies statewide. Cherokee with a high expected around 75. Shenandoah 78 and sunny. Des Moines 78. Albia also expecting a high temperature around 78 tomorrow. Waterloo 77 and sunny on Thursday, and Clinton 78 and sunny.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. Find out the latest on those scattered thunderstorm chances. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. And you can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find our video content on our YouTube channel as well. And when you're there, don't forget to click on the notification bell. That will let you know whenever we have any new video content available. And don't forget our free twice daily market podcast, which are on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.